What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 1190 of FloWrestling Radio, live from Austin, Texas. We got a new little situation here. We told you about this on the last show. I'll do a quick intro and then talk about what's going on here in Austin. To my right, Andrew Spencer Spey. He's here. He's preparing for the blowout of the year.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. Project X.
Project X style. To the left, Father John Kozak. Still America's side piece. Mm-hmm. Father John. And then joining us from lovely Omaha, Nebraska. One of my favorite towns, James Dean Rader. He's got his Buck Fever shirt on. What's up, JD?
Just another great day in paradise.
Amen, brother. Well, as we mentioned, different situation here for a couple weeks. Six is probably more than a couple, but it makes it sound like it's not going to be that long. Mm-hmm. So our studio has been, they've already gutted it. They already ripped out the fake fireplace that produced no heat, no fire. And so we're down here. We're on the 15th floor of 301 Congress. And as we mentioned, we're moving HQs down the road just a little bit. So in preparation for getting that studio ready, we have no studio, but the Flow Sports production team and the rest of the Flow crew hooked it up. This is a good situation. Show him around, Greg. Give him a quick 360. Greg was bragging about his camera skills. Look at it. He wasn't kidding. That's where everyone walks in.
We were going to use those chairs, and then we said no.
We said no to those chairs. And just keep spinning. It's fine. And then if you
that was our old
right
studio.
there, look, that's the old closet where they put us last time. This thing here. And I said, please don't do that again. And they said, okay, we won't. And then we keep turning. There's the whisper rooms.
Or the confessionals. That's what Ollie and I go in.
Yep. And then there's Meryl. She works there.
You're on camera, Meryl.
She's not listening. She never listens to FRL. And then Sion's here. He walked in.
Sion's got the
and it
latest.
looked like, you know those the podcaster mic things, the little.
It's a body cam.
A little square. He had it clipped to his collared shirt. I was like, "Are you?"
What did he call it? What is it called?
A lookie.
A lookie.
It's a lookie. He's got this thing. It's like a body cam.
It said AI assistant.
And it tells him if he had a productive day or not.
That was where it was like, it just records and I could review or something. No, it tells me if I was productive, if I had a good day.
So he's just wearing this. Is he still? I don't know where he went. He's around here somewhere.
We took over the Papa Shot area too, so no Papa Shot while we got the show.
Yeah, he's wearing one of these because he's got it clipped to his. You can pull in Kozak's thing here. It's just wearing this around.
But
it's not even a necklace.
Guy? You looked up lookie?
Sion actually looks cooler than this dude. But anyways, so that's what's happening down here. The 15th floor will be full of distractions. This is where pretty much everyone walks in, right to my left.
I feel like today we're okay because it's in between Christmas and New Year's, so nobody's coming. Very few. Yesterday was a ghost town. You weren't even here. Me and Kozak were here, though.
I wasn't.
But we were about literally, you could count on two hands the number of total employees that were in here today.
Dang.
Or yesterday.
Okay.
I'm going to miss the chat.
We're going to miss the chat. You know what?
It's here.
They were saying we can't live stream. I don't quite understand that. So maybe we will live stream at some point.
We could just start a live stream. Well, no, that wouldn't work. I was going to say we could just have a chat going randomly.
Have a chat going, but they can't hear what we're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would.
We're going to try to do the premiere thing.
Yeah, we're going to get it going.
Feel a little bit live,
the show is still live because we're doing it right now.
I feel like we could do live translate. Record onto
we also
so
have to hold mics.
Everything.
It's very blue collar, except for Kozak. He doesn't have to hold it. All right, JD, dear friend, get this show on the rails for the first time all show.
All right, let's lock in. We're gonna get to kind of some more big picture stuff. We're gonna have a show tomorrow, scheduling note, where we're gonna do a bunch of 2025 kind of recap stuff and some categories, some awards, but. We got to lock in on these holiday tournaments right now. Before we do, I want an Anthony Knox update. I want to know what's he thinking, where's he going, where can we expect to see Anthony Knox wrestle, and when?
So, when, I would say not until next season. I don't think Anthony Knox needs to redshirt beyond. He has one if he wanted to take one next year. I know because he's a. Cornell's a little different in what he was doing with the gray shirt, but not enrolled. So he could technically redshirt next year. I don't think that's what they're going to end up doing. I think we're going to have a decision in the next couple weeks. I don't think it's going to take long. I think he's down to a Final Four, I would say, of Ohio State, Rutgers, Virginia Tech, and UNC, North Carolina.
That's big news.
Yes, big news, and obviously 4 really good options, very different options. You've got Big Ten, you've got ACC. Staying home with Rutgers, an obvious, pull. That's a draw. Virginia Tech, a lot of momentum, exciting team. UNC, Tony Ramos, Rob Cole. There's excitement there, and of course Ohio State. Been kind of the story of the season so far. So, good options for Anthony, and we'll see where he winds up. Obviously, I think I talked about like the factors there for him that they're weighing, and NIL is going to be a big piece of that, right? And the offers are big.
Like you look at those 4 programs, and immediately my mind goes to, like, fit. Where does he fit? If you say he's going to wrestle next year, it's like, okay, Ohio State, Nick Bouzakis has been wrestling really good. He has another year. And then Virginia Tech, I think Ventresca has another year as well. So, I mean, Ohio State, I guess Mendez is graduating, so maybe they could, move some guys around there as well. But, yeah, that's kind of where my mind goes.
Yeah, I really like Knox as a 25, at least for the foreseeable future. So, with that in mind, if it's a Tech, maybe he does redshirt. If it's another place, that has, UNC, he could slide in right away. Rutgers, he could slide in and wrestle right away. So that could be a factor as well. But yeah, obviously, he's a huge get to wherever he winds up, and yeah, we'll keep you posted as things change. Obviously, things have moved pretty quickly it was just like, a week and a half ago, maybe a little more, that he decommitted, and already it seems like he's pared down a pretty small list.
December 18th.
Mm-hmm. Also, is this our first show since Christmas? I think it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, have a merry. I hope everyone had a great Christmas. Ours was great. You can already tell I got a sweater for Christmas.
Oh, so. I brought the wrestling gift that I got. I forgot to bring it out to dress the set with, but maybe next show tomorrow.
Maybe next show. It'll be tomorrow.
I have an unfortunate snake update.
Oh no,
Miss Hist
what
Jr.?
She died.
No,
the snake died.
The next day, yeah.
What?
It was a very sad Christmas Eve morning.
Which one of your daughters did it?
I don't know. We woke up, it was dead.
No one wants to fess up to
Where?
The dead in its little enclosure.
Outside?
Yeah.
Terrarium, I think they're called.
But the good news, so
Oh my gosh.
we were planning on getting a guinea pig the whole time, though. So guinea pig came later that day and eased some of the
Holy smokes.
But yeah, R.I.P.
I got a question. What's the difference between a gerbil and a guinea pig? I have no idea.
Guinea pigs are bigger.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I think I know the difference between a hamster.
Guinea pigs are bigger.
Yeah.
Bigger?
Guinea pigs get about as big as a Nike Inflict 4, size 10.5.
Oh, how's that for a product placement?
Yeah. We just do everything in relative to.
Whereas a gerbil could live inside a
Yeah,
Nike
this would be a
Inflict 4.
perfect little terrarium for a gerbil. It'd be perfect. You just poke some holes. Although these are very breathable, so,
Maybe I'll have no problem breathing in
it
it.
would have no problem. A gerbil, this is not true, but I think a gerbil would have no issue living inside a Nike Inflict 4.
Don't try, though. Don't buy
Don't try
Nike
it.
Inflict 4s to house your gerbils.
Don't. Because
buy
that's
them anyway.
That's just not the best use of them.
No, you got much better uses.
Yeah, you got matches to win. Not
Gerbils,
not
they're
to
small, social, and active. Guinea pigs are large, social, and vocal.
And
They're very
vocal.
local. They do this like squeaking noise.
They make noises. Okay.
Kinda cute.
All right.
Sorry.
We never had those size pets.
Sorry,
when I
what
was
was the snake's name?
Coil.
All right, can we do a quick moment of silence for Coil? Miss you, love you.
All right.
Thank you, Coil. All right.
R.I.P.
Happy anniversary to the Kozaks, by the way. 14 years strong.
Yowza.
We did it.
Yep,
Congrats.
you did it. Okay. Any other things on Knox, JD?
No, I don't think so, but I do need another update.
Oh,
I need an update on Jax Forrest. He's wrestling at Powerade.
yes.
What does this mean? What does this mean for Jax? What does this mean for Oklahoma State? What does this mean for Bishop McCourt?
If Jax wins Powerade, it means he's a bona fide Division I prospect. I think we could finally
I was
say
still
it.
out.
ready?
On it. I was still. The jury was still out. So.
And the jury is still out. He's got to win. And then we're going to know
Yeah.
for sure.
It's up in the air, pending results.
Yeah, pending results. Yeah, Jax, I think this is his last high school tournament. I think he's going to go to Oklahoma State. go to Stillwater very soon.
So
and
that's pretty big news. Like the Knox's Final Four, knowing that this is it for high school for Jax.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, there were rumors, but
we'll get it straight from the horse's mouth after Powerade. Should he win? Should Jax win? We'll get more details from Jax on his plans and what he's going to be doing. But yeah, I do think that's the plan. Now, what does he do? Does he gray shirt, red shirt, wrestle right away? I think it is still a fact that those decisions have not been made at this point.
And he'll be, if he wins Powerade, and if he enrolls at Oklahoma State, he'll still be able to use that rule where freshmen get 5 dates before they have to pull the red shirt. So
exactly,
he's got a lot of options. If that is true,
he does.
Did you see? I think we played the clip, but at Powerade, we were watching this yesterday in the office. Those that decided to show up.
Oh wow.
But he tried to hit the Jackson Joy armbar into a cradle move. It was like he saw that clip and was like, all right, I'll give that a shot at Powerade.
Yeah, he did.
You don't see the setup as much here, but
yeah, but you saw it.
There you go.
Then he ends up. I don't know if his elbows got a little wonky there, but
it's like the guy's head could slide out, but instead he just started choking underneath the chin or just wrenching on it. The guy slipped out, so no pin, but that just shows Jax is he's a lifetime learner.
There you go. His length is probably perfect for a Jackson Joy type of series.
Yes.
Maybe it's a Jax thing.
Oh, all the Jaxes?
Maybe Jackson Smith will start doing it.
But he's got to try it at least.
He's got to try it now.
Hopefully he gets back on the mat. We haven't seen Jackson.
He'll be back.
Okay.
He's fine. Just the precautionary. They're being cautious.
Good to hear.
What was I going to say about? Oh, other McCourt-related things. No Bo Bassett. He's fine. He was sick at Beast, and he just could not. He thought he was better, and then he got worse, and he's never missed an event ever, and couldn't wrestle at Powerade, but he's fine. He just needs to not be super sick.
He could probably still win, but it's like you don't want a sick person going out on the mat and getting other people sick, so it was a selfish act by him.
And he kind of already proved he could win sick when he won Beast, you know?
Yeah. Melvin is there at Powerade.
Melvin is there and winning.
Yep.
So, yeah, more to we all await hearing from Jax after Powerade. And so, yeah, tomorrow we'll have a more substantive update, I believe. But that's
good. We're gonna get a nice Jax update from Jax at
Jax.
Powerade, because we're at Powerade. We got guys there.
That's the plan.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is there a scenario where we see Jax Forrest versus Reneiri Ortega in NCAA wrestling? Because Ortega's wrestling at Midlands.
That's we've called for this match for years. Now it's finally good. No, I don't think so. I mean, I've been hearing about Ortega for literally years wrestling in NCAA competition, and the closest we've gotten is he wrestled at Midlands. So I'm saying no. I think it's much more likely we see Jax Forrest in this competition than. Also, is Ortega going to go? He's not going to go 33.
He's at 33.
What, he's just going to dump Evan Frost? Doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think they want him eligible for next year, right?
Sure. So maybe we see him next year.
I think we should share with our audience. Most of our audience.
Yeah, I don't think they do.
Who Reneiri Ortega is, but we should share.
Go ahead, John.
Well, he's a Cuban. I believe he's a two-time U23 world champ. He was their senior rep for a little bit. His senior level wins.
Beat Gilman.
What's that?
Beat Gilman.
I know him and Dayton Fix always had like really close matches. But yeah, he would be a legit senior level guy right now at 57 kg, maybe 61. But he's wrestling at Midlands right now and looking pretty good. Beat Matty Lopes 13-4. Lopes is having a solid year.
Yeah.
For Lehigh. So
yeah, he's got a couple rank wins, but he's probably in a red shirt, right?
Yeah, he's in red shirt. So yeah, I mean, if Reneiri was wrestling right now, he would be a top 10 guy, almost guaranteed at 133.
Really?
And I watched this match.
Why?
Because he's that good. And 133 kind of falls off after 10.
It sort of does.
I could pull it up and tell you, but Lopes was ranked like 13th.
Okay.
before
He
I pulled
easily
him
beat
out.
Lopes. I mean, I watched that match. It didn't look like he was a freestyle guy wrestling folk style. Like,
Yeah.
he knew how to.
I mean,
do
Dylan
He's been
Camp-
here for years.
Dylan
Yeah.
Campbell's ranked number 9 right now. Braxton Brown's 10. Ethan Bergen's 11. Zan Fugit's 12. I feel like he'd beat all those guys.
Okay.
So,
Well, we'll see if he'd beat Aaron Seidel, maybe.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
skipping ahead to some other news from Midlands.
Yeah, we should segue there. Aaron Seidel probably had the result of the weekend so far, or whatever this is. There's no weekends from Christmas Eve till New
Yeah,
Year's.
there was
Day.
one duel on the Monday after the Journeyman Collegiate Duels weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was nothing until Midlands. So that's a long time. It's a long drought. Usually it doesn't fall that way with the dates.
So anyway, Aaron Seidel got a tech over Dylan Shawver of Rutgers, 17-0, 2 takedowns, bunch of backs, and Seidel, we'll see how his tournament concludes. He beat the most credentialed guy in the bracket already, very dominantly, and just every report since he got to Blacksburg is like, this dude is absolutely killing it. Is clearly the best guy at 133 in that room, and which is sort of, it puts Seidel in perspective more when you see how good Dylan Campbell is, right?
Yeah.
So now the question for Tech is, does Aaron want to go this year? Should he go? I think those things are all going to be considered, and I don't think it would be a bad decision for him to go. It sounds like Aaron may not be long for 33. It could be like this could be the only year he can make it, which, when you have a bunch of guys coming in next year, it could make sense to, use him now, and then he can go up to 41, or depending on if Bo wants to go 41, then he could redshirt. I don't know. There's flexibility there if you use him this year.
I feel like if you're healthy now, with the way guys are going down to injuries and missing opportunities, if you're healthy and you're wrestling well, I would lean towards go. I mean, every situation is going to be different, but get those chances while you're healthy and wrestling well.
Do you know why he didn't wrestle until Midlands? He doesn't have any matches on the year. It's a pretty crazy debut.
I think they were just I don't know, but I would guess just to save his dates, and now you can use him in, they duel Oklahoma State, they duel NC State, Stanford, excuse me. So they have some tough duels coming up, and they're using him here at Midlands. So I think it's an opportunity to save him for those. He doesn't need to wrestle at Southeast Open or anything, because remember, they have to be attached if they wrestle first semester. So I don't know that that's the reason, but I hadn't heard anything like he was dealing with a health problem or anything like that. So my guess is those were the reasons. But, man, he looks – you know what? Kind of puts Jackson in perspective, too, a little bit. Like, that was a really competitive match, Jax versus Seidel, PIAAs. And, Jax is going to run through a lot of really good 33s this year. And I think Seidel – maybe potentially a top 7-8 guy at 133. But if Jax ends up wrestling, this 33 weight class is approaching 157 status in my mind, especially if they pull Seidel.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the top tier of that weight class, and it's Lucas Bird, it's Marcus Blaze, Drake Ayala, Ben Davino, Evan Frost, and then you throw, Kyler Larkin, and you throw Jax Forrest and Seidel in there. Man, you have how many legit title contenders would you say if Seidel and Jax Forrest are in that tier or in that group with the other guys?
And I mean, Ryan Crookham.
Yeah,
He comes back.
Yeah.
So I don't think. I mean, I think Bird obviously is. I would say Blaze Davino for sure. I'd put Jax in there. I might stop there though. And maybe Crookham.
Did you say Marcus?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
If I didn't, I did.
Ayala.
Drake, I don't know.
Can
I
he
mean,
get back to that?
Drake was not close with Ben. He not close. Bird's now won the last 3.
He struggled against Ronnie Ramirez.
Yeah.
Right.
Tight one against Ronnie. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he's.
He'll have his opportunities in the dual meet in the Big Ten dual meet season to prove that he can get back to that level. But I agree.
So yeah, 33.
Speaking on Virginia Tech, they got a situation at 149 now too.
They got so many
They got both
situations
their
in Blacksburg.
guys. both their guys in the Midlands semis. Colin Guy and now Ethan Miller back down at 149, where he spent a couple of years at Maryland before being at 157 last year.
Yeah, I like the move for Ethan. I think you look at 157, it's a scary weight class where Ethan could have his best day and still be round to 12 in a weight class like that. Whereas at 49, I just don't think that's the case. I think if, all these plans are great on paper, right? And you don't know how it's going to actually look or how they're actually going to perform down at that weight class. Kind of like Buzakis. Like, you like the idea of it, but how does it look in practice? And then you kind of need to see it in practice to
There's
weigh
the puzzle piece assembly, like, okay, this weight, this year, eligibility, this gets our best lineup out there, assuming everything works out. But then when they start wrestling, when they start getting matches, things either go up or down, or they go where you think. But, yeah.
Sure. So with Ethan now, I like the move, but we need to see how it plays out in reality, right? He needs to win this bracket, I think. Not needs to, but be a good signal that this is the right weight for him and he's going to perform. It's also his first matches of the year, so it's kind of a tough first go. He's going to have to make weight twice. Who's he have? Joffrey?
He's got Joffrey has looked pretty good. He had 3 really close matches to start, 12-9, 4-1, 3-2. And I was telling you this morning, that first match, he needed 3 third-period takedowns to win 12-9. So he's being tested for sure. And then you got Lemley and Colin Guy up on the top side. And Lemley's been good at 49 this year. So I feel like this will be a good test.
Kozak, are you seeing?
I thought Lemley got like 4th at the Kent State Open.
I think you're
or is that
thinking of
Ragusin?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Are you we saw some of the Cornell guys, the second semester guys, show up at Journeyman Collegiate Duels. Now we got a couple Virginia Tech guys. Are you seeing have you noticed any other second semester guys at Midlands yet that we haven't seen?
That we haven't seen yet. I mean, I know a lot of the Cornell red shirts are there, like the Cortez brothers. They've been really good. They've been wrestling everywhere. And then also Jude Correa has kind of been rolling through.
Yeah.
Their Spartan Combat RTC crew.
Yeah. Which Jude Correa is a guy to watch. He said, and as a high schooler, he was going to pin everybody, and he's kind of doing that.
He did say
he's
that.
pinning a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
He's not pinning everybody. So, but he's through to the semis as well.
It reminds me a little of. You'll appreciate this reference, Andrew. A little Hudson Taylor.
Oh, Maryland.
Got on top, really good leg rider.
That's a big guy.
Torqued a bunch of people over in half Nelsons.
Got a lot of torque.
East Coast guy.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Other Midlands. Other Midlands notes. Santaniello takes out Zeth Romney, who's kind of been struggling this year. What do you think? Is it a bumping up, moving up in weight thing? Is it just he's hurt this year? Is it just something else? What's going on with Zeth Romney?
I haven't heard anything about injury, but there's been a clear delineation in his career when he's up at 141 and when he's down at 133. He's just been better at 33 than 41. He's massive for the weight class. He's a nice size 41, but right now that looks to be the variable to me, that Zeth Romney's better at 33 than 41. Some guys are better up weights. Some are better down to weight. Jet Schreckenberger is kind of a prime example of this. Like, yeah, you're a big 25, but you can't produce at the same level up at 33. And so for Zeth, I'm kind of wondering now, because he forfeited out of Midlands, right, Kozak?
Forfeited out, yeah.
He forfeited out of Vegas. So is it injury? I don't know. I don't think so. He doesn't look hurt. He looks great in
He looked great in the first period against Nash Singleton. I was commentating that match. I'm like, man, this is awesome. Zeth looks like he's back to form, and then just fell off a cliff.
Right.
Which seemed really like you wouldn't think that would be the case up in weight, because you're not dealing with the same weight cut. So I don't know. Maybe there is an injury that we just don't know about.
Yeah. Well, I'll try to find out, but I think honestly, just seems like he's 3-3.
He didn't. Yeah, he wrestled the first match against Grayson Clark. Remember, it was tiebreakers, and he didn't wrestle again until CKLV.
Man.
And then he hadn't wrestled since. So it's like he's going like once a month. It's kind of the way he's been competing. So that's not a great.
Definitely a
sign.
situation to monitor at 141. Anything? What else, JD?
One other sad Midlands note for me
Oh, no.
personally. Cody Chittum goes, I think 1-2, comes back, makes his return. I don't know. He doesn't seem to have it anymore. Hopefully he can figure it out though at Chattanooga.
He lost to Burden, I saw. Who's his other
Burden
loss?
close, and then he lost on the backside to SIUE,
Woodcock.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Brock Woodcock, great name. Strong name though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rhymes.
He did win. What did he win? The Kent State Open, and he said he is redshirting this year, Chittum. So maybe we see him back down at 57 next year. It's probably more of a true weight for him.
Yeah, that
But-
could be part of it too.
Up at 65.
Yeah.
I don't think. Have we ever seen him up that high before? Did he win Kent State at that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he's as strong as they come, but sometimes that extra weight makes a difference still.
Scheduling note for Midlands: once you're watching this or listening to this, semis have already happened. They're going down in an hour from when we're recording this, and then finals are today, Tuesday at 4 p.m. Central Time. But kind of just a question about holiday tournaments: is there any way to revive the holiday tournaments to their old glory?
I think part of it too is there used to just be one Midlands long time ago, and then Scuffle was to have two. There was enough schools and enough talent, and now we've added a third, which is the Soldier Salute, and it's a zero-sum game at a certain point. There's only so many teams and so many wrestlers to go in all these tournaments, and the big thing was the way you qualify for NCAAs means that you don't get any credit for beating a post-grad. A David Taylor's, a Heath Valencia comes out and wrestles at Midlands. That's awesome for fans, but coaches and athletes that are currently in college don't really benefit from that. So you're going to see less and less of that, almost none, I think, this year. And so that decreases from your talent pool again. So
Now-
those are tough things to fight against to get back to where they were when it was just Midlands and Scuffle.
Yeah, I mean, you shared this Southern Scuffle entries with me. They're looking pretty decent.
Scuffle rebounded. Last year
Yeah.
was definitely a down year for the Scuffle. Not a lot of highly ranked guys or future All-Americans in there. But this year, Virginia Tech kind of split their squad up. Half went to Midlands as it opened. The Scuffle got, I think, a few more of their starters. NC State has registered a very strong squad. Oklahoma State is sending some backups. Penn State hasn't registered their guys yet. But yeah, okay, yeah, you're bringing that up now.
Yeah, look
Yeah,
at
it
us.
was thought that Oklahoma State was going to send more ones.
Who
but
all is Oklahoma State sending?
There no ones.
Richie Figs,
We have a national champ in the mix.
Sam
Yeah.
Smith, J.J. McComas, Coulter Burton Cutter Sheets, Austin Johnson. That's it.
I thought Oklahoma State was sending to Salute as well.
Maybe they're hitting all three.
I don't know. I haven't seen Salute entries yet. I put
Are those
together.
available? Are they public?
I don't know. I don't know if we can hack them. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't.
Give it a shot.
I haven't seen them yet. We'll see if we can get them. That's
But-
Big thing for
you-
the Salute is Iowa sending their starters.
They'll send some for sure.
They
And I
have-
think
I
74.
mean, it's in
the story there is 74, right? It's Patrick Kennedy, Gabe Arnold. That's been discussed. That's the number one story at the Salute. For me,
well,
is
unless we
Aiden
see
Sinclair
Angelo.
goes.
Well, Aiden's going. We reached out to him. He said he's wrestling. So now we don't know if Angelo's going.
yeah, we'll see.
We're
I hope
halfway
so.
there.
But yeah, I think it's going to be Kennedy Arnold. I mean, that has the real. If Aiden wins this or Angelo wins this, I don't know. We know that's going to be a one takedown or if any takedown match every single time they wrestle, right? The starter for Iowa, that's a big deal. Maybe no one thinks Gabe's got a shot here, and there's no scenario Patrick Kennedy isn't the starter, which that may be the case too.
That's what I was going to ask. If Gabe wins, do you feel like they'll give Kennedy another chance? Like, would they
Oh,
send
yeah.
him to another open together, or do they kind of keep swapping them back and forth, testing, how they do against other teams?
Yeah, I mean, I remember back in 2013-14, Thomas Gilman won Midlands, which had like Delgado and all these. It had Delgado, it had Corey Clark, Gerard Garnett, and they still wound up going with Corey Clark. Am I remembering that correctly? I'm pretty sure that happened.
What?
That sounds right to me. I remember that was
I'm almost positive.
What year?
2013.
2013. Okay.
I don't remember all the names and who's in the bracket, but I remember that was when Gilman.
I'm pretty sure it was like a really salty bracket. Dane Dennis or Ryan Mango, I forget. But
I'm pulling them up right now.
he's pulling them up. Go to 25.
All right. Delgado was the 1 seed. Gilman beat him in the semis.
Right.
Also beat Dylan Peters, and then beat Gerard Garnett in the finals.
Corey Clark. Yeah, so I was right.
Darren
So, yeah,
Cruz.
but they ultimately went with Corey Clark. So my point being here, they're not just going to necessarily go with a guy that wins a tournament. They're going to give other guys dual opportunities. And if you remember, Gilman wrestled Brand Kale from Minnesota. You probably don't remember this. He wrestled Minnesota's Brand Kale, and he got wingdinged twice.
I remember Brankale.
And then kept thrown to his back twice, and then Clark ended up getting the nod from there on out.
I can't say I remember or I was
wingding.
thinking about him until you just brought him up now, but yeah, Brankale part of those Minnesota teams.
Yeah. So, yeah, my point being that Tom Brands is not going to use one tournament. It's like, okay, whoever wins the salute is the guy. Although I would say if Kennedy does win, there's probably no.
He's in pole position.
That's
you'd say.
it. I'd say it's probably over then, unless he got hurt.
74 is like pretty interesting after Levi Haynes, because you're kind of looking for who's the next contender at 174. Because I mean, Simon Ruiz, I feel like
Could be.
he could emerge as the guy, but he wasn't that last year. So Patrick Kennedy was ranked second to start the year, and no one has gone through the beginning of the season unscathed at 74. Patrick Kennedy beat Carson Harchla, lost to MJ Gaitan. Singleton beat Facundo, lost to Harchla. So, like, you look at that group,
Yeah.
and it's Levi Haynes, and then it feels like it's everyone else, you know?
Yeah.
I'm also concerned about Simon Ruiz. He's hardly wrestled this year.
He's fine. They're just bringing him back slow. We saw him at collegiate
Yep.
duels, hard workout. Yeah, they're being slow with him, but he's totally fine. No concerns there long term.
All right, that was holiday tournament talk. We'll get into that a little bit more, maybe a little more in depth tomorrow.
Although the only thing I was gonna say, JD, is like, I mean, ultimately the strength of the holiday tournaments are the teams, and the fact is, Ohio State, Penn State, Oklahoma State, they don't do them. So if those teams just said, okay, we do holiday tournaments now, I think it would really change how we think. So it's really only a small number of teams that don't do it, but it makes it seem like no one's involved.
Yeah, just getting the numbies up.
Yeah.
Do you feel like they need to come back in order for, like, the strength of college wrestling, or do you feel like it's like as long as we have, because the way that it's been the last few years, it's like, okay, there's still some ranked matchups. Guys are getting matches, but it's not the same grind as the CKLV, you know, where it's like that's the in-season tournament. And this year that was even maybe a little bit down.
I think wrestling does lack a consistent calendar of premier matchups for fans to get excited about. And I think this has actually been one of the best years for it, because you had All-Star and National Duels and CKLV and Journeyman and yet Cyhawk. And it feels like this is sort of a dead time from collegiate duels till really the Big Ten season doesn't really start for another week or two. So this does feel like kind of a gap in programming if you're a fan. So I do think it would be better if one of these was elite.
Yeah.
I think it's an issue.
And that's the challenge every year with the coaches. If you probably ask them at the beginning of the year, or you isolate each coach and you said, okay, like, tell me what kind of strength of schedule you want every one of your wrestlers to have, and they kind of grade them or say, like, okay, I want him to hit 3 top 10 guys and this many guys, blah blah blah. You do all that, and then you have to rearrange it and make sure all the teams go to the places they go for that to basically happen, assuming everybody wrestles. You could then kind of schedule and program everything out, but there's so many moving pieces that to get what every coach wants is going to affect everything else, and it goes ups and downs. There's peaks and valleys.
JD?
All right. Excuse me. Some other kind of notes here. Story notes, news notes. Masoumi to Azerbaijan is an official transfer happening.
Yeah, this is a huge story. Masoumi of Iran won everything at age level multiple times, heavyweight. He's ragdolled many an American, unfortunately.
Yes.
He's been, for the last, I would say, 3 years, a top 5 heavyweight in the world, regardless of age. He's just been one of the best. And he's behind Amir Zare, who does not lose. So he's not been able to get by. Kozak, you may have the details there, but I feel like they've had some like close wrestle-off situations. Iran is sort of bizarre in how they do it, but yeah, give a sense of how close he's been.
Yeah, I mean, he's been close in score, but not in really outcome where it's questioned whether or not he's going to win the match. I think there's been maybe one match where he was leading in the second period, but then Zare kind of just ramped up and won by a good couple scores. So Masoumi would be, in my mind, if Petrashvili doesn't come back, he's the only guy that I think could actually beat Zare in a couple of years.
Yeah.
He's young. He's been winning U20s, U23s the last few years, which is actually now has come to his detriment because he has to sit out because he's been competing for Iran up until this last year internationally. So now he has to sit out at least until 2027.
Yeah.
And maybe even until the beginning of 2028. So it's like they're putting everything behind the 2028 Olympics for Masoumi to go there and to win. And the guy's just a giant. He's like 6'5". He's probably...
His father's an Olympic medalist at heavyweight.
Yeah, you love his first name.
Fardine? What's wrong with Fardine? It's a nice, pretty name.
But yeah, like he's a guy to where if he keeps getting better, it gets a little bit better, and Zare falls off just a little bit, you could see Masoumi being an Olympic champion, and then it's like, man, Zare never wins the gold, which could be like one of the saddest stories for Iranian wrestling, and almost all too fitting for them as well.
That would be insane. I mean, if would a nation like Iran take any pride in Masoumi winning the Olympics?
If he beat Zare in the finals, I feel like it'd be really hard for him.
That would hurt. That'd be a sting of stings.
I feel like, Masoumi wrestling for Azerbaijan against almost anybody else. Certainly against the U.S., they would probably cheer. The other thing that's interesting is that Iran is it's more of a multinational country in that it's not everybody that
Azerbaijan is more multinational.
No, Iran.
Iran is okay.
Iran has Persians make up the largest percentage of nationality or ethnicity inside Iran, but there are more people who are Azeri living in Iran than there are in Azerbaijan.
No kidding.
So Azerbaijan used to be a larger state or whatever before, hundreds of years ago, and then the Soviet Union / Russian Empire took one half of it, and then the Persian Empire took the other half.
Kind of like Albania.
And Albania, well, yeah, that's a whole nother story.
Tell it.
I don't know how much time we got. But so anyway, the point is, in Azerbaijan, the Azeris, they speak a Turkish language. It's mutually intelligible. So someone in Azerbaijan and someone in Turkey probably speak a language that can understand each other, like Scottish and English or whatever.
Yeah.
So Azerbaijan's kind of caught in between like those three worlds: Turkey, the Ottoman Empire, Russian, Soviet Empire, and then the Persian, Iranian Empire. But the other main thing that brings Azeris closer to Iran is that they are both predominantly Shia cultures, Shia Islam, different than Sunni, which is more predominant all over the globe. So, long story short, Azeris and Iranians are confessionally compatriots, but linguistically they are more Turkish than they are Persian.
Okay, interesting. Well, there you learned that today, but you weren't ready for that
Social
one,
Studies
folks.
with Spey.
So
That's right.
Azerbaijan and Iran sometimes like they share a lot of cultural bonds too, because there's a lot of overlap. A lot of families are on both sides, and
Okay.
yeah, so they might enjoy rooting for Azerbaijan.
So yeah, big
Another-
pickup for Azerbaijan.
Another international wrestling note, which we didn't mention on the last show, which we probably should have. Reigning 70-kilogram world champion Aogi moved up to 74 kg at the Emperor's Cup and took out Takahashi.
Yeah, that's certainly notable. Takahashi won Worlds. They both won Worlds. And yeah, that showdown for 74 kilograms is going to be really intense. Yeah, I love Aogi. He's a cool guy. Takahashi, great. I mean, from a leg attack perspective, yeah, I think he's got a little more offense than Aogi. But he's got the first leg up, that's for sure.
What do you think you do here for rankings purposes at 74? Takahashi's #1, won Worlds.
Not no mo.
Aoyagi lost the Messenbrink, and then
Don't do it.
and then beat Takahashi.
Yeah.
Messenbrink #1 is the only thing you can do.
Well, I would say those wins were at 70. So
What was that? 70.
Oh no, it wasn't. It was at
That's right.
74. Yeah,
Yeah.
Never mind. He won Worlds at 70. He lost to Mitchell at 74.
And then beat Takahashi at 74.
Yeah, I don't know what you do there. I think I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, this is only round 1 of basically the Japanese qualification process, right? Then there's the
End of May, early June, they do the Meiji Cup.
Meiji.
Yeah. This was Emperor's. So
you
yeah, I don't know.
might like withhold, say Takahashi gets the benefit of the doubt from actually doing it at Worlds and not against somebody.
Yeah, we could drop
domestically.
him behind Sherman because Sherman, that was an injury default. But I don't know.
Chairman of the board. I do
All right.
think it's interesting that already this early in the cycle, you start to see the pieces and the countries all start to line up who they want for 2028.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a fun quad. Okay, what else?
Let's get back to NCAA wrestling. A couple quick questions before we get to questions from you, our friends. I want to know your guys' biggest surprises of this NCAA season so far.
Biggest surprises. I would say the #1 storyline, biggest shock for me is the performance of Ohio State this season. I think on paper, everyone liked their team. Everyone thought this is a good squad. This is a crew that could maybe get a trophy, right? And the way they've won, they've really been the story of the opening, of the first 3 months of the season, right? The way they won national duels, beat Iowa State pretty soundly. They kind of ran through the national duels.
Mm-hmm.
And just how good their first couple weights are is really, really been impressive. I think that's the top storyline. To take a team that's maybe it's kind of cheating, but I think so many of their guys have been just not wrestling. Maybe wrestling above expectation, right? Brandon Cannon is ranked #1 in America right now. We just did not think that was going to happen.
In the nation.
Nick Bouzakis looks like a title contender down at 25. That's big. Ben DeVino smoked Drake Ayala. It just keeps getting ranked wins. And, of course, you have Jesse Mendez doing what he's done every year of his career, which is win. So I think they've been the story, and it's like as great as they are now, everyone's going to be like not holding their breath, but like, all right, can they maintain this, right? Is this who they are? They can be able to maintain this by Big Tens and NCAAs, because that's not a guarantee with a lot of teams, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what you want to see what Ohio State can do. But they've injected some real life into this team race with not just their emergence, but like, okay, on paper, you can arrive at a competitive duel with Penn State, which, coming into the year, we didn't think anyone was going to be able to give them a competitive duel meet. So for me, that's the #1 surprise of the year, biggest storyline.
Where's that duel? At Ohio State or at Penn State?
It's at Penn State this year.
Okay.
BJC.
At the center. That is going to be huge, and that's going to, determine whether we have any kind of storyline going into NCAAs or not. Determine once and for all, but that's going to the hype is either going to get fizzled a little bit or it's going to reach fever proportions.
Big Tens, sometimes you see Penn State doesn't have their best days. They've I mean, Kale has like 3 more NCAA titles than Big Ten titles, I think.
One
something
has
like
a little bit more importance to him.
Right, but I mean, just the way the field's constructed, they're a little more vulnerable than in the tournament setting.
Right.
I don't think this team will be, but that's another area where you could see them potentially challenged.
I'm not surprised in that. I mean, this is maybe a weak answer because we all knew that they were good coming into it, but all the freshmen that are announcing themselves, when you mentioned Davino, it made me think of the fact that, freshmen, I mean, we knew PJ Duke was good. We knew Marcus Blaze was good, but to affect the landscape this early and to have so many, not just redshirt freshmen like Angelo Ferrari, but true freshmen that are out there, and Aiden Sinclair, redshirt freshmen. But when you're looking, it's like it's pull the shirt off, let them go, let these guys compete because they're ready. They're coming out of high school ready to go. We're going to see it again because we already got guys that are in high school right now winning college opens. Yeah. So just moving that timeline forward, whether it's academic, whatever class they're in or age they're in, it doesn't matter. It is people showing up to college, no red shirt necessary, or if they do red shirt, then get ready freshman year because we got contenders.
Yeah, the freshmen have been a massive story for sure. I mean, Vega.
My biggest surprise was going to be Sergio Vega.
Great one.
I did not think he was on the level coming out of high school as a PJ Duke, as a Marcus Blaze. He was highly touted, no doubt, Super 32 champion. I think like number 8 on the big board. He was top 10.
Yeah.
I feel like he was a guy who really would have benefited from a year to develop and get acclimated to college wrestling. Him beating Brock Hardy twice bad was not on my radar. That is not something I predicted. In fact, even I said it last show, but even after the first time that he beat him, I was like, I think Brock's gonna get him this time.
Yeah.
But, man, Sergio Vega's that dude. But now I do have a question for you. Sergio Vega versus Anthony Etchemandia. Who do you got? Because that is such a different matchup stylistically from Brock Hardy. Is it a scenario where Sergio just has Brock's scrambly style, sit the corner style really figured out? And can he handle the explosiveness, the position of Anthony Etchemandia? Or is Sergio Vega really that dude and not just a good stylistic matchup for Brock Hardy?
Yeah, great question. I've been wondering that too. So yeah, you see these dominant wins for Sergio, and you kind of forget he's had some tight ones, right? Nasir Bailey was on the match-winning takedown, standing single leg, and then he rubber kneed out or whatever it was, and wound up on the leg and got the quick finish. But he's not without some. He had a
Ryan Jack 2-0.
Yeah, Ryan Jack's the other one I was
Jordan
thinking
Titus 5-1.
Yeah, so he is not dominating everyone the way he's. Not inexplicably. There's reasons he dominates Brock Hardy, but, those are sort of incongruent. So I think this is going to be a close one. I really do. You wonder if there's some familiarity, both Sunnyside guys. Definitely a different era, but would not be surprised if there's a level of familiarity there. I don't think there's going to be a big brother effect. That's not what I'm insinuating, but just something to factor in. But, yeah, I think Anthony is not a scrambly guy. One thing that's impressed me with Sergio is like you look at him, you're like, this dude, because he looks like he's just going to get run over, right? He's just not a muscle-bound guy.
The optics of Sergio Vega versus Anthony Etchemandia is funny.
Yeah,
very funny.
You put two non-wrestling fans are like, all right, who's going to win? Who's going to win this basically controlled fight? 10 out of 10 are going to pick Anthony Etchemandia.
100%.
Yeah, he looks like he came out of the action figure pack. I mean, he's got muscles on muscles, and especially down at 41. But then Vega and the poofy hair too, the curly hair. It's not the intimidating buzz cut you think of with the classic stereotypical wrestler look. But he can use that to his advantage, lull you into a false sense of security.
Yeah, I probably am 60-40 on Sergio for this match. I think it's going to be close.
I'm leaning to Anthony. And
you are.
It's
Cyclone JD.
Maybe it's the Iowa in me, and maybe this is dumb because, like I said, I've been doubting Vega for the past year, and it's come back to bite me. So maybe I shouldn't be, but I'm leaning Etchemandia.
just keep hating. You know,
I'm not hating. I'm not hating.
You're gonna be right at some point.
I mean, those Oklahoma State freshmen too. I failed to mention them, but Vega, thank you for bringing them up. JD, Robidou, and then Lockett is a red shirt. So,
yeah, it's a crazy freaking crop.
What a crop.
Another couple individual surprise, just kind of quick shout outs from me. Christian Carroll.
Oh yeah.
He could go down as most improved. I did not see this from him. And in Dean, Iowa, I was a doubter there as well, or maybe just unsure. I didn't think he would be bad, but I did not think he would be a top 5 guy at the weight.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know if we're going to dive into any Soldier Salute brackets, but I think he could have Bennett Berge in his bracket at 197.
If Berge wrestles, Berge hasn't wrestled since injury defaulting out of CKLV, so I'm going to go into that one expecting not to see it. That way I'm pleasantly surprised if it does happen.
I'm going to ask right now. Cover for me.
Also, Joey Novak could be there. Wyoming.
Ooh, that'd be a good one.
Scheduled to compete. Evan Bates, who and Dean kind of rolled up at National Duels. We didn't really get to see much of that match. But yeah, you go through Soldier Salute. There could be some really fun brackets if everyone shows up.
Are those guys that you just pulled from the schools that entered that are ranked, or are those that you contacted the schools or got some info on?
These are the ones that I pulled from the schools that are entered. Yeah.
Because we have...
so not guaranteed to be there.
Not guaranteed yet.
Hopefully by the time you see this, we have... they should be coming out today, but the final entries for Scuffle, and I'll have those published, and we can start thinking about brackets there. There are always scratches and changes last minute before weigh-in, so that's when the actual brackets will come out. But we could do some Scuffle speculation later.
Who's favored in a Christian Carroll-Ben Keeter match?
That's a fun one.
I mean Keeter's the, on paper favorite, and would be my pick.
You look at what Keeter did to Nick Feldman last year, and I feel like that's a pretty good comparison, just athleticism-wise, style-wise. Carroll's maybe a little bit more of a gunslinger.
That's what I was thinking. Feldman still, or especially last year, was a lot more apprehensive with his attacks.
But, Feldman beat Carroll this year. But it's a fun matchup. I feel like, I don't know. I feel it could be like a one takedown. That's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah, could Keeter ride him? He's been able to hold guys down. I think I would favor Ben in this matchup, but
you could see Carroll getting this attacks and just mixing things up, and then who knows?
I'll say this: if Carroll gets a takedown, it gets real early takedown. That changes everything. If I'm Carroll, I think you try to get on the board early and then make Ben have to come after you.
I also think Carroll is if he goes down, he's going to be a hard guy to stop if you're trying to finish out the match and stop those attacks. Swims.
The way he's been wrestling, it's like he just keeps coming at you for 7 minutes.
He's not afraid outside leg shots and then starts scrambling around.
For sure.
Let's look ahead to 2026. Biggest storylines in college wrestling headed into 2026.
There's so many lineup questions, I feel like, this year. There maybe been years with more, but obviously my number one is Oklahoma State, Jax Forrest, usage. I would expect we see him wrestle this year. That doesn't mean he's necessarily going or not, but to me that's so unprecedented to, have a guy plucked from high school and then wrestling. It reminds me of when Penn State plucked Brady Berge from the South Dakota State staff and used him at 157 when I forget someone got hurt or something. So is it something like that? We really haven't seen something like this before. I remember. I don't even know if it was ever even a consideration or something we were talking about that they were considering doing. But I remember one year, the rumor got out that Nick Lee might reclassify his senior year of high school and have wrestled for. Do you remember this?
I do.
And
the reclassification always comes up. Has been a reoccurring thing.
Yeah, but Yeah, that would have been crazy because he was I'm pretty sure his senior year, he spent at State College.
Yep.
He didn't do his high school season.
In Indiana.
Right. And so that rumor swirled because I think Penn State was like, that was one of their weights where they definitely needed someone. It was either 33 or 41. They had like a real need. And, but of course it didn't happen. But we've been talking about it, happening for a while. But now if it actually does, it's, does it start a trend is something I wonder.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Penn State to see if they get all their pieces of the puzzle back in. If Nagao comes back, Barr looks healthy as ever, so that's pretty good. And then so 97 seems short up, even though they had some options. Not a lot of weak spots. Can Marcus and PJ keep it going? I think they do. And does that juggernaut keep rolling? All signs point to yes. But it's another thing to do it, just like that duel streak that they broke at Journeyman Collegiate Duels. When you put it in perspective, when you think about how long that record how long it stood for, what do you have to do, year in and year out, week in and week out. So let's see if that Penn State train keeps moving.
I feel like another big storyline is just Iowa, which it always is. But this year, it's like, how do they respond to maybe a disappointing, yes, definitely a disappointing first semester to where they lose to Ohio State and then they lose to Iowa State.
For the first time in 20 years.
First time so it's like, can they right the ship? I don't know if that's the right phrase, but if they come back with like a strong second semester, you see a different Nasir Bailey or a different Jordan Williams, and they finish second. Then it's kind of like, okay, like that feels like they're heading in the right direction after a tough first 2 months of the season.
I kind of feel a little differently. I kind of feel more neutral on Iowa in the start of their year. I feel Nasir and Jordan have been counterbalanced by Ryder Block and Indine, where we were thinking this room was not factoring much at all there contribution-wise, and now it's like regardless of how the season ends, those guys are legit All-American contenders, and you already know that Nasir, whereas that wasn't determined, right? We didn't know that about Indine and Ryder. We know that Jordan and Nasir are guys that can place or can be right there to place at the national tournament. They just got to find their groove at Iowa, right? So it's almost like, in some ways, you almost take it. It's like weights where we thought we were getting minimal contribution, we're getting good contribution, and guys that we know can do it just aren't producing at that level yet. So I think there's reason for excitement, but the reality is this is a very boom-bust lineup. They do not have a lot of sure things. Angelo Ferrari is. Drake Ayala is. I feel great about him placing. Caliendo, of course, is like almost gets forgotten for how steady he is. So they've got some really some high performer guys, but then they have a lot like Dean, Nasir, even Ryder, Jordan, maybe Kennedy, Indine, and Keeter at this weight class are like, you could see those guys wrestling in the round of 12.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Win or not, you never know.
Well, it all just shows you how important those 3 days in March are and how that will change, how you look back at the season. Last year, Nebraska showed that those 3 days can completely erase, however they did the rest of last year or the previous. All that matters is that they finished second. Right. And, can they get back there this year? That's how they're going to be judged this year, is not whether they won this tournament or how they did at national duels. It's going to be what they did in March, and then, how an NC State or Virginia Tech are going to be, they'll win, they'll battle out for ACCs and all that other stuff. Well, Iowa State, they beat Iowa, but what happens in March? So
I'll say the biggest one for me actually is Oklahoma State's back half of their lineup, because how Facundo, Ryder, and Merrill go, it's not just for this year. Like, that's their current long-term planning at those three weights. Those guys, right. Like Facundo has multiple years. Ryder's a freshman and Merrill's a freshman. So they're at present, they don't have a other guys waiting in the wings there. So they need good contribution from those weight classes if they want to, one, stay on the trophy and stay on the podium this year. But then for the future, when, next year they've got Jax, the Raineys are coming in. You've got Drayshawn Ross coming in, kind of seamless at heavyweight there. Those 3 weight classes are weights where if those guys turn into top 6, top 5 kind of guys, where that's what they were recruited to be, that's what they were coming out of high school, that's what they were thought to be. If they can be that for Oklahoma State, then you can start having real conversations about, okay, Penn State's that much closer, right? Yeah. But if those weights are not producing, and heavyweight as well with Connor Doucette, like they need a lot of talk, a lot of excitement about Connor, but can he get those top 5 wins? If they can, that's going to be the key to how we view this Oklahoma State season. Ultimately, is like if those guys are producing, then Oklahoma State can be second. They can be, making things. They can apply pressure because they've got, in reality, Troy Spratley, Jax if he goes, Sergio Vega, are all like super S tier kind of guys. Landon Robidoux, D Lockett, like that's 5 just dynamite top 3 potential wrestlers
and young.
And super young.
And those recruits are, everything in those weights are gravy at that point.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Go
ahead.
Well, I mean, look, last season felt like it was by far the craziest portal transfer season that we've ever had, with the way teams are filling in pieces of the puzzle and line up holes, and the top tier teams, the ones that have the NIL money to spend, are spending it. We're looking past already. It will be 2026, but after the tournament, do we get another craziest transfer season ever? And I feel like it'll just, for the foreseeable future, every offseason is going to be crazier than the next.
Yeah, very possible.
I've got 2 storylines for 2026 that haven't been mentioned yet. Spey, you kind of touched on it, but number 1, Penn State GOAT team watch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can this team get 10 All-Americans? Can they somehow get 6+ national champions? Can they break the record once again? That's what I'm watching. And the battle for number 2. Mr. Uncle J.O.P. said it, but it's the greatest race in all of sports right now. It's the battle for second place in NCAA wrestling. Ohio State has separated themselves for right now, but come national tournament time, they are far from a lock to get second place. You're going to have Iowa, Iowa State, Oklahoma State all in the mix there to finish in second place.
Completely agree. I love that team race. Shell's right. Cool.
All right, let's get 2 questions from our friends, but before we do,
yes,
Spey, you got something for our friends?
Yeah, I would like to point out that it's still the holiday season. You can still go out there and get gifts for people, and whether Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you celebrate is over, go out and get yourself some Nike Inflix 4. Go to our friends at athleteps.com. We got them strewn about here, our lobby. It's not even the studio anymore. It's our lobby, but look at these nice kicks that John is pulling up there. Lightweight, durable, and with a match-ready feel. The first time you lace them up, the best shoe in the game is now even better. Out in 8 colors. Get the all-new Inflict 4 from athleteps.com. Go there right after you watch this or while you're watching this, because we're not live anymore. So go.
Also, look at this.
You're running out of time.
You're running out of time.
Oh.
There's only 1 day, 16 hours, 47 minutes, and 55 seconds left for you to order your FloWrestling gear from our friends at Nike.
And that's when we're recording this, so you probably have less than 40 hours total to get online and go order these shirts.
Mm-hmm. Go do it.
You go do it now.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay.
Question time?
Question time. All right. I'm going to share these. Tommy Hank Johnson, the third. What are your opinions on a regional qualifier, like in D2 and D3, rather than NCAA allocations being by conference?
I don't know. I like the conference thing.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
In absence of
conference tournaments would take such a hit if they weren't for an NCAA qualifier.
Yes.
Like if they were only for a conference title, like, let's be honest, the top teams just wouldn't care that much. They would start saving guys if there was a regional tournament 2 or 3 weeks later, that was the big one to qualify for the big dance. So I like it because it makes conference tournaments matter, makes
Yeah.
it fun.
Here's a wrinkle, though, because I was talking to some Division III coaches not that long ago. I'm a big D3 fan. And there was a conference that recently started sponsoring wrestling, the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. Shout out to the ODAC. But the coaches, right now, the conference championship is determined by the conference tournament. But the coaches were like, we kind of want to change that because they have the regional qualifying tournament. So they don't use their conference tournament to qualify for NCAAs. They have the regional, so it's just another tournament, and they would rather it be dual meets because they say, even for D3 schools, they get some campus interest. They get some student interest in their dual meets, and if their season-long decided their conference championship, that to them would be a better way to determine it. I don't think that would necessarily be the best for D1, but that might be a little silver lining that you put a little more emphasis on your in-season dual meets, but probably not. I don't
like
think enough that want to change it, but yeah.
I like that, but then you have one duel for the conference tournament champion. So it's not just, who had the best record against everybody. It's kind of like football, where you play your schedule, but then on this date, we have one duel for your whatever conference champion.
You have a dual belt?
That would be
Good
cool.
idea.
Okay.
I also, like, if you go to a regional format, like, I assume it would be by location. So, I mean, is Penn State going to qualify against Lock Haven and Clarion and other
That's
small
it.
Pennsylvania
Edinburgh.
schools? Like, yeah, the conferences kind of make it a bit more of a level playing field for how D1 stacks up right now.
I'm pretty sure they fudge it so that they try to keep it in the region to keep travel costs down, like geographically, but then they also try to make it evenly matched. I don't know. We'll have to check in with our D2, D3 experts.
Okay. Joe Gurgente at Captain Little Joe asks, how does Virginia Tech handle 149 next year? Henson, Nininger, Guy, Bassett, plus Gorman and Crook currently at 141. They have some questions at 133 and probably others as well.
They didn't pull it in.
Oh, sorry. There it is.
Boom.
New setup. Got to get used to this.
This is Cotton Eye Joe asked this question?
Joe Gurgente, Captain.
Where did he
Little
come
Joe.
from and where did he go?
Yeah. So it's hard to imagine 149 not being either Bo Bassett or Caleb Henson next year. It will be one of those two. And yeah, they have more good wrestlers than they have spots. And that's true this year, and it's going to be true next year as well. Drew Gorman and Tom Crook are going to be fighting for a spot. If Aaron Seidel is at 141, it makes it even more complicated. But then they get Dylan Campbell in. You would add Dylan Campbell to this list if Aaron Seidel remains at 133. So there's a lot of talent. They have a lot of guys, only 10 spots, and they are really dense in that 41 to 57 range. And there's some big bosses there that are potentially going to be taking them up. So yeah, I mean, there's going to be good guys on the bench or portaling potentially.
And this is the problem that all the top teams need to have now. Like, you have to have this type of depth if you want to compete with Penn State, Ohio State, Iowa State. Like, that's what you got to do. You got to just stockpile talent and see who rises to the top, because then whoever does, then those guys are like, okay, they're ready to compete for a title because, they're the best in their room that has other All-American contenders.
But yeah, I mean, a lineup next year for Virginia Tech could start Eddie, Dylan, Seidel, Bo, Henson, and then maybe it's Burton at 65. I think Burton's a savage. 74, 84. I think they still need. I don't know if they have their long-term solutions there, but yeah, they're going to be
long-term
really
solution. Not for next year, but long-term. Melvin's coming in.
Oh yeah. So for next year, Caleb.
Unless
like,
Melvin does a little page out of Jax's book.
That's what Caleb keeps talking about. Caleb's like, dude, they should do it. That would be awesome. I'm like, it's not happening. It's not in the. It's a different situation for Melvin and Jax, and yeah.
Melvin's still, he's a 157 pounder right now. If he were in college,
Yeah, probably.
that's where he beat Brandon Cannon. Yeah, I'd like to see him get up to 74. That would be cool.
Yeah.
All right, next question from Rob. You think we see highly touted recruits Thompson, Cale Hughes, or J.J. McComas transfer out of Okie State? If not these guys, anyone else we see leave?
They have a ton of national qualifier, fringe AA type of guys that are not even, I mean, some of them aren't even second string, right? They're third and beyond. Yeah, we saw Braden win in the portal briefly last year and then, reconsidered and stayed. And that's something that Cale has been able to do a really good job, is keeping guys in and invested and continuing to, try to, make the team there. But, they've lost, they had Bearclaw transferred out, David Evans.
I was just going to mention those guys. Is maybe it's you get your last year of eligibility and you say, okay, writing's on the wall. I've been here long enough. And then you get a 1 year final grad transfer type deal with some guys. But, we'll have to see how it plays out.
It really depends. Like, what are the packages like for a guy like J.J. McComas and others, right? Like, if your school's paid for and you get to go to Oklahoma State and be on the team and try to make it, like, that's a tough thing to walk away from. It's obviously a special place. A lot of great things are going on there, and the pitch from Cale is, hey, is your goal to win a national title? Well, where are you going to do that other than here, right? And
yeah.
I think David for sure is going to have similar messaging, and based on what he did last year, it's like it's not just talk. So, but yeah, they have a lot of really good guys that aren't going to wrestle, and that's going to be true for years to come.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, from Dominic Montano, what is the most exciting second semester duel that doesn't involve Penn State, Oklahoma State, or Ohio State?
Well, my obligatory NC State, Virginia Tech mention, as always. But I'll say one other than my obligatory, which is also true, is I'm really excited for this Cornell-Lehigh January 10th duel because
Live on Flow.
They keep talking
about people.
about having their guys back on Lehigh. That we'll see Ryan Crookham and we'll see Luke Stanich. And that's something we've been wanting to see for a while now. So it's possible we get that lineup, which if that happens, this duel is absolutely fire and really, really competitive. If Lehigh can get their guys on the mat, it'll be interesting. And I believe that was the timeline for Simon Ruiz as well. So it feels like both these teams have been like, all right, let's get our guys back by the Lehigh Cornell duel.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're no longer in the EIWA together. The Ivy spun off, and now they sponsor that conference sponsors wrestling on their own. So they're not going to see each other at the Easterns, but they're going to hopefully keep that dual rivalry going for the foreseeable future because it is a great one. Mm-hmm. And another one that I'd like to see, besides Augsburg and Wartburg, which is the Battle of the Burgs, which of course we all know is one of the greatest rivalries in all college sports. But JD, isn't Kearney sporting like a pretty high ranking right now? And aren't they going to be at the NWCA national duels with like St. Cloud and some of the other rivals?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's always. I can't remember what day it is in January this year, but it's always early January. January 9th, 10th, maybe.
I think I saw the entries, and it was like 8 of the top 10 teams, including like 1 through 5 in D2, are going to be there.
And then first week February, UNK versus Central Oklahoma, the also greatest rivalry.
There you go.
Okay.
I'm actually looking forward to literally next week, or is it technically this week? I don't know. I'm on Christmas vacation.
There are no weeks.
But Iowa State Stanford is coming up here pretty soon, and there will be a lot of really good matchups in that one.
You're right.
Okay.
Ooh, Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech also, although that
Not
was
allowed. No.
not allowed to say that.
No, not allowed. Not allowed.
Edit that out.
Okay. All right, next question. Actual Cannibal. Would John Elway have had a better career if he went to Baltimore?
Absolutely. He's a snob, and he could have went to Baltimore, and he didn't, and he held out like a snob, and shame on him. And it basically ruined his life.
John Elway?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he seems to be having a horrible time as one of the owners of the Broncos. And
exactly. What a nerd.
Was he the one who had like a friend that was He was driving the golf cart.
Yeah.
And he fell off.
That was like a longtime agent or something.
Yeah.
Like they were like best friends. Yeah, that's actually
Be careful
sad.
on those golf carts.
Yeah, be careful.
Have you all seen
Golf
the
carts
new 30-30?
30-30? Is that
No,
what you're-
which
30 for 30.
On?
34
Elway?
30. On John Elway. They just released one.
Oh, no.
No.
I haven't
what's it
watched
called?
it yet.
It's
I
called
don't
Too
know,
Cool
Elway
for
or
School,
something?
the John Elway story. Too cool to go to Baltimore.
You know, sometimes professional quarterbacks, when they're coming out of college, they decide that they don't want to go to certain places, and it actually works out. Let's say like you're the number one pick, and you don't want to go to San Diego, and then you end up in
Yeah.
New York, and that works out for everybody.
Eli Manning, big snob too.
Big snob, but now he's sponsoring Jersey Mike's, and he's probably the greatest football player of our generation.
Yeah, that's what everyone's saying.
That's what they say.
He would have been the GOAT in San Diego.
Oh yeah, like P. Ribs.
No, but then my dad hated the Colts forever because they left when they
They
left
left hard,
Baltimore. It literally broke his heart. He irrationally hated Peyton Manning just because he played for Indianapolis.
We got to get our dads together because my dad always called them the Dolts, and he was super mad that they left Baltimore as well.
Dad'll just throw hands immediately.
No, he's on your side.
Oh,
He's also grew up in the Baltimore. Well, he grew up outside of Baltimore in like rural Maryland, but he was a big OEOs and a big Balmer Colts fan.
Yeah.
And when the Colts left, he cursed their name for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And then when we grew up in New Jersey, the reason I'm a Giants and a Mets fan is because he hated the Jets because of Super Bowl III,
Yes.
and he hated the Yankees because of the Orioles. And it happened to be that in the 80s, the Mets and the Giants were good, but now I'm stuck with them when they stink too. So whatever.
Yeah.
There you
Well,
go.
I'm a Commanders fan, so we know nothing but
Oh,
pain.
I'm a Manders fan. Oh,
Yeah.
gross.
Hey, you know what I noticed about the shot is how small you look compared to
You got to move you
Spey
up.
and me.
Yeah.
Scoot
Oh, I did.
forward or
That's
something.
well. What do you think Greg does?
Yeah.
Greg gets.
It's all Greg's plan.
He set it up this way so I look short, and I don't care that I'm short.
Yeah.
I'm taller than Kozak. I'm shorter than
Not
Spey.
taller than Jordan Burroughs, though.
I'm about the same size as or same height as Jordan.
Just
About.
a little bit smaller.
I don't know.
Just visually and demonstratively smaller.
Yeah.
Okay, next
Oh, look at
question.
me. Now I look like a big dog.
All right, that's better.
Okay. Tyler Perry, could Knox wrestle next semester? Would that be something you think he does, depending on where he goes?
No, big mama.
No. It'd be fun.
Yeah, but he won't do that.
Okay. I'd like to see it. All right. The Halo headgear. What's going on at Rutgers? How can they not develop nearly anyone in a hotbed of wrestling like New Jersey? Something has to give soon. These are fighting words, Andrew Spey.
Well, I think it's when you're judging programs on how they develop and everything, so much is the kids themselves determine it. So wherever they go, like if you get the right kids, they're gonna develop in your program. I think Rutgers and Coach Goodale has shown that they have been able to develop. They have produced national champions and All-Americans that are guys that you would not have pegged as All-Americans coming out of high school. And, you know, maybe they're going through a little bit of a fallow stretch right now. They lost Pritzloff to Columbia as a head coach. He brought Rivera and who's the old Blair coach?
Buxton.
Buxton was also at Rutgers, and now he's over in Columbia now. And they've been mining the Pennsylvania high school talent a little bit more lately, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, you know, programs go through peaks and valleys, and it's still not that, you know, it compared to when they had Soriano and Ashland winning national championships. Obviously, it's down a little bit, but it's not like they're getting run off the mat. They're just a middle of the pack Big Ten team, which is still really good.
They're middle of the pack Big Ten. They used to be a laughing stock.
He used to be at the bottom of the EIWA,
Yeah.
which I don't think people
don't
their memories
understand,
are way too
like-
short.
Yeah, it does feel like Rutgers has kind of found its level. Like this is sort of who they are. They're kind of middle Big Ten, which is a lot of teams would be happy to be middle Big Ten if you look at the big picture. And ultimately they're going to be judged on March, right? Is Dylan Chauver getting tech by Aaron Seidel is going to look really insignificant if he places, right? And if they get Lenny Pinto on the podium, which he's yet to do, that'll be significant. Losing Dean Peterson hurts. You got a Jersey guy. He DMPs last year and then leaves. It looks like there was some dispute over a challenge, non-challenge. That seems like really micro to me for a guy that beat Richard Figueroa and Luke Lillidahl last year. But he left. And so there's not always a succession plan there if a guy just kind of ups and leaves. They got a solid squad. They've got a good dual team. I think it's, a lot of people look at a program like Rutgers and say, there's this like fake list of teams that fans think they should be perennial top 10.
Yeah,
and then you look at
20 teams that should be in the top 10.
And then when you look at that list, you're like, well, wait, actually, it's insanely hard to do. Like a program like Virginia Tech is perennially top 10, and that's really hard to do. And they're a team that I think is, NC State, Michigan. These are teams that are fringe, right, to that perennial top 10. So now you say the hotbed of New Jersey. Does every kid grow up in New Jersey wanting to wrestle for Rutgers? I don't know that.
Yeah, Rutgers is in a tough spot where they were never the school. Like when I was growing up, they were bottom of the EIWA. So if you wanted to go Big Ten, or if you wanted to wrestle big time, you had to leave New Jersey to go to a Big Ten school. And now you see the top kids that come from private schools and they're being recruited nationally, and they're going to either Ivies or Stanford or Iowa, Oklahoma State, Penn State, and it doesn't mean that you have a big advantage just because you're the state school of New Jersey to be Rutgers to get a lot of the in-state talent. That doesn't actually give you what you would perceive as an advantage if you were, say, an Illinois, an Iowa, or a Penn State for their in-state talent.
The idea of locking down the in-state is it's totally an unrealistic notion. I mean, they said the same thing about Illinois forever. Like, just lock down Chicago. Lock down Chicago? Like, what are you even saying? It's just not. You're not going to do that. No team's going to do that.
I think the silver lining or what people should take as a benefit is the fact that there is pressure on Rutgers when they're in the top 20 every year and not in the top 10 means that the fan base has been elevated, that there are more people that care about the program, that there are fans out there that have high expectations and hopes and want the team to do better, and that's better than having nobody care.
100%. I am with that, and I'm with you wanting to hold that program to a high standard. There is nothing in Rutgers' 100-year history of wrestling that says they're one of the best programs, one of the 10 best programs in wrestling. They've never been that. So you want them, what you want for them is them to be something they've never been before, which is not an unfair aspiration. I'm not saying that, but just make sure you're recognizing and acknowledging we want Rutgers to be something they have never, ever, ever been.
Right. And you would be the first fans that get to enjoy that lofty status.
Yes.
All right, one last thing on Rutgers Radio Live here. Over the last 10 years, they're 17th. And so they're, like, you look at this list, I don't know, Greg, if you want to pull it in, it's just a spreadsheet that I did. But, like, the teams they're behind are all the teams you would expect them to be behind.
Yeah.
And then, like, some of the teams they're in front of over the last 10 years, like Iowa State, maybe they were hit pretty hard. But, like, North Carolina, Stanford, Oregon State, Pitt, Northwestern, Wyoming, Oklahoma, South Dakota State, those are all, like, good teams.
And they're just behind if you scroll up just a little.
They're just barely behind Illinois, Wisconsin,
UNI, Lehigh,
like that's
State.
the next tier, and those are really solid,
really good programs,
historic programs.
Who does not think UNI is an incredibly solid program on great foundation, well run? Okay, they're 14th. Okay, they're 3 ahead of Rutgers, right? So I think they're fine. Could they be better? Yeah, sure, they could be better. They got to retain talent. They've had some good guys that haven't turned into the next level, but I don't know. It's not on fire there.
You should also look at some of the other programs at Rutgers. I don't want to pick on those programs, but it's like wrestling is a bright spot for that athletic department. Let's not take it for granted.
Yeah. Okay. All right, a few more questions here from Noop. Number 1. He has 2 questions. Over under 8.5 Penn State All-Americans. Number 2, over under 4.5 schools have a national champion this year.
So the 8.5 is so tricky because there's no scenario where I don't think they have 8 exactly, like at minimum, right? Like, who do you take off the list? So really, the question is, do they get one of heavyweight or 141 on the podium? And right now, I don't know. I kind of would probably take the under at exactly 8 because I don't know Nagau's status. Even if I did, is he 50-50 to place? I don't even know if he's that. Connor Mirasola, is he 50-50 to place? I don't know.
Here's what you do if you see that line. You take some money and you buy down the line to make it 8 even.
Okay.
You buy that half a point.
Buy that half
over
point.
I don't know if you can do that at which
Probably not,
you, but you do it.
Tell him Spey had this. Tell him Spey sent you.
That's my strategy, and you can use it.
All right. And then what is it?
4.5 schools with a national champion over under.
NC State, they win. I think we'll have more than 4.5. Yeah.
Okay.
What would make it tough is if like Penn State wins 6 NCAA championships. And then
They've never done that.
Not yet.
It's getting closer every day. Ohio State, Penn State will get one. I think Penn State's going to get one. What do you say, guys?
Yeah.
One.
They'll be represented.
Yeah. They'll be in that photo.
Will Oklahoma State get one? NC State with Vince could be one.
Will Oklahoma State win one?
I mean, maybe not.
Yeah.
Depends how selfish Penn State is this year.
Well,
Yeah, they want to hog all of the titles.
Yeah, if feels like 84 is a good one for a non-Penn State team to win. It'll be Iowa, Missouri. I mean, of course, they have Rocco Welsh.
I mean, 57 just with how nuts it is as a weight class.
True.
PJ Duke, he can definitely win, but he's going to have 2 or 3 in the balance matches. So,
Noop, I really want you to remind us of your question after NCAAs.
Yes.
If you can do that, I would really appreciate it. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Noop.
Yeah,
Noop. Okay.
Noop dog.
Next question.
At Champagne Reflux.
Ooh.
We could be having that on New Year's Day.
It's the new Champagne Poppy.
PokesFan34, where do you think Jax finishes if he wrestles second semester?
I honestly don't know. Could you see him outside the top 5?
Ooh.
No.
I agree, JD.
I mean, you go down the line, and it's like, I could see him losing to this guy, even if you go down to number 6 outside the top 5. But I just don't think he loses to multiple of those guys and finishes outside of the top 5. Like, if I have to pick, I'll take him 3rd.
That's where, I feel like 3rd.
He loses a tight one to Lucas Bird
Or Blaze, yeah.
in the semis.
Mm-hmm.
That's
kinda
something
how
like
I
that
see
would be
it.
my prediction.
Yeah, beats Davino for 3rd, maybe.
Mhm.
I don't know. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I think it's reasonable. I can't see him outside the top 5, though.
Yeah, I think
He
fifth,
can win.
fifth would be his absolute.
I'd say
4.
1st through 4th is the range I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I mean,
He
so you
wins.
think about,
It's
Lucas
a
Bird-
crazy story.
So you think about Bird, Davino, Frost, Ayala, Larkin, Blaze, and Crookham. Like, each one of those guys,
Crookham.
I'm like, he could lose to that guy. But he's too good to lose to multiple of those guys in one tournament, I think.
Yeah. If he wins, I'll steal your question or the line that you used. Has there ever been a guy that won Powerade and the NCAAs in the same year?
Yes.
Has been?
It'll be a goated year.
Okay. Michael C., is there any update on Aaron Brooks?
No, let me ask.
Okay.
I thought we were, yeah. Every time I asked, I was like, yep, we'll know in 2 weeks. And that started in, like, I don't know, June.
It's
So,
the story of the future, and it always will be.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll go on to the next question while you check. Roundtable questions are back, baby. You can only watch 3 Christmas movies forever. This is from The Real Avery Lynch, of course. I'll go first. Home Alone, Christmas Vacation, and Christmas Story. Ugh.
Christmas Story's terrible.
Nah.
Okay, 3. So
That's a terrible take.
it's a bad movie. It's not even good.
Yeah, I don't like
It's
that
a
movie.
Terrible movie.
It's solid.
It's not even solid. I don't know why. I don't even know why they play it.
What?
I have no idea.
What is your beef with it again? Like,
We've
it's
already
too
done this
negative?
on the show. It's very negative. There's
Yeah.
like a mean family. It's just like I
No,
don't
they're a
know.
happy
dark.
family.
No,
and
they're
then
not.
they
It's
all-
very dark.
Then they all get together at the end of the restaurant and have a good time with the duck.
It's bad.
Roasted duck.
The
Then-
Little Brothers.
They made the leg lamp famous.
I don't
Yeah, it's a
care
major
about
How can
award.
you hate on a leg lamp?
it. I don't.
Glowing sex in the window.
It means nothing to me. I would say Home Alone, Elf. And I might get a little sentimental with I loved Miracle on 34th Street. That was a good one. Both versions.
That's terrible.
It's not terrible. They used actual U.S. mail to prove the existence of Santa Claus. So bet you didn't see that one coming in.
Wow, proved in
Law
a
and
movie.
Order, the SUV.
I'm
I'll say
going
that-
Christmas Vacation, Bad Santa, and A Christmas Story.
Yeah, I think I got the same ones, JD.
I have
That's
a lot of
2 votes.
sentimental. I have a lot of sentimental
With
value.
Bad
with the
Santa?
Christmas
Bad
Story.
Santa is the best one.
I've
That's
not
easily
seen
the-
that.
It's hilarious.
Oh, Bad Santa
It's
2 is
hilarious.
even pretty good, but Bad
Sounds
Santa 1.
deviant.
Bad Santa 1 is like
Bad
legendary
Santa's
all-time
good.
movie from all time for like any kind of movie.
It's a good movie outside of Christmas.
Yeah. And then a Christmas Story and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation are both great because my dad was sitting in his recliner with like controlling the remote while everybody's there, and he put on those movies back to back. He's probably seen them a million times and was still howling with laughter at all of the
Really?
jokes. It was just so fun to see him enjoy what he knew was coming, but there it was. It's like, the Bumpuses have their dogs that try to eat the chicken. I loves it when the dad gets angry and has to go fix the radiator and all that stuff.
I liked Santa Claus. I thought that was a good
Santa
movie.
Claus.
Santa Claus
With
with Tim
Santa
Allen.
Claus. With Tim Allen.
What about Jingle All the Way?
Oh, that's a funny one.
I forgot that movie. 'cause
Yeah.
that's
I think I still have to see. I don't think I've seen either of those, but
With
I've seen,
Arnold?
I know that I've
And
seen
Sinbad?
the scenes where he says, "Put the cookie down."
I don't remember that part.
Isn't that where he has to buy the toy, right?
Yeah, he's trying to get the toy.
Yeah, and he's on the phone with Phil Hartman, and Phil Hartman is eating his wife's cookies, and Phil Hartman's character is like
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
a slimy neighbor guy.
Yeah.
He's eating my wife's cookies. Put that cookie down.
Yeah.
All right,
That's by
last.
Arnold.
Oh, that was it. That was the final question.
We did it
Yep. My computer's at 2% too, so
Wow.
we just barely made it.
in the nick of time.
That's
JD,
another
any
good movie,
parting
Nick of
thoughts
Time.
before I give parting
No.
thoughts?
Don't forget,
Okay.
show tomorrow as well. If you're a YouTube watcher, be prepared for 11 a.m. Central Time from now on, not 10. Just a heads up, scheduling note. So.
Greg hit the music. That means it's time for us to go. Thanks for tuning in yet again. 1,190 strong, and this is our. I'd like to one day I'll add up all the different places we've done FRL from my basement in Virginia to Cesar Chavez to Springdale to the Closet to the Good Studio to the 15th floor. Who knows where we'll do it next? Except next time it will be here in this exact
You
same
did it in like
spot.
hotel rooms on site.
Hotel rooms.
We'll always be together though.
We'll always be together. And that's the message of Christmas and of FRL. Thank you guys so much. See you next time. Goodbye.